The reason we're focusing on crime in this session today, but also in much of our work at the Urbanization Project, is that crime is the most important, the essential function that a government has to address, or public safety is the service it has to provide. And no city will succeed if it doesn't do that basic task. And it is a challenge that generally falls to the city government rather than something like the national
speak
government.
to that, and first a comment. I have those of you that practice yoga, I have a mantra: cops count, police matter. And it's the belief that, the point you're making, that cops are essential to any city, any state, national government's success in ensuring all that democracy promises. The pillars of democracy, education, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all of those are on a shaky foundation if public safety is not secure. The 70s and 80s were a time of great change for police, in that, as ineffective as we had been in dealing with crime, particularly during the 60s, we became increasingly ineffective with dealing with the changing nature of crime in the 70s and 80s. That we had the compounding effects of increasing social disorder on the streets as police walking beats disappeared, became motorized, became more impersonal. We were always going after the fact. We were always responding. Investigations were after the fact. Police were after the fact. We really didn't come to understand until the late 80s and early 90s that they were victims of the societal crime of all this aberrant behavior on the streets. And the victim was the neighborhood itself, was the city itself. Neighborhoods that went into steep decline because there was not any attention to street prostitution, street narcotics dealing, abandoned cars, graffiti, the sense that society, government, was not focused on public safety, and we were not. We were focused on traditional serious crime, but what community policing, the new model, brought to the stage was, one, a focus on partnership, that police cannot effectively police any city, any community, unless we partner with the community, partner with other law enforcement and city agencies to identify what are the problems that are creating fear, creating disorder, and ultimately creating crime. And with limited resources, what do you want us to prioritize on? What do we need to focus our time on? But what changed was, in the 90s, and I'm one of the principal advocates of it, is that the role of police is to, first and foremost, prevent crime. There's not one of you in this room that would not prefer not to be the victim of a rape, a robbery, a burglary, and then take satisfaction because the police arrested your assailant. You'd much prefer to not have had to go through that experience in the first place. And one of the benefits of that control of behavior to such an extent as you change it is what this city is experiencing right now. Crime that has gone down for 20 some odd straight years, 80% less than it was.
Here's another question. What can police departments do to broadly and systematically gain the trust of its civilians, especially those in the racial, ethnic, socioeconomic groups that feel they've been treated differently and disrespectfully?
It's hard work. I spent 7 years as chief of the Los Angeles Police Department, and while I'm most known for New York, I think my most successful time was Los Angeles. Because not only did we get crime down almost 60%, particularly gang crime in one of the most gang-ridden cities in America, gang crime that is basically focused entirely in the minority African-American and Latino community, but we were able to turn around community attitudes about the Los Angeles Police Department and the Los Angeles police attitudes about the community, two entities that have been at war with each other literally for 50 to 60 years.
Please join me in thanking Commissioner Bratton.
Thank you so much.